No worries. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Manic Monday Facebook Live. Sorry we took a couple weeks off. Lee and Mike were screaming busy with a lot of profit team groups through what was that? April? Yep. And so we took a couple weeks off, but Lee was gracious enough to hop on with me here on Monday afternoon. Or I guess it's still morning in Arkansas, right, Lee?
It is just barely. And the Arkansas, that's just wrong. Right off the bat, you'll start it like that.
Right. But the whole world goes off East Coast time anyway in New York City, so it's okay.
You seem to think that, that's for sure.
Right. It's where all the people are. Or at least the good people, right? So we wanted to hop on today and just kind of talk about what's new with Profit Team Consulting and a lot of the new things that we've been able to develop, over the last 4 or 5, 6, 7 months. And basically, Lee, it's the sales managers groups and the sales groups that we've put together. So maybe if you want to start sales management wise and just talk about what kind of the spinoff of Profit Team meetings into that.
Well, I mean, a lot of what we go over in the meetings, of course, has to do with sales. We go through all that stuff, but a lot of people have, a slightly different take on how to motivate their sales staff, how to do the different things that they need to do with, within their markets. So these groups actually, and I mean, I'll give you as much as before they got to see me taking a shot at you. That was actually a funny one before we were on live. I'm going to give you credit on the actual live one though, and say, you're the one that kind of said, that would be a great extension to go on and have a lot of people, get together and start talking about how they do that. How do they hit the numbers in profit team groups that we ask them to hit? Because we push a lot, but how did they do it? And that was your idea. And putting those together has been really, really neat to know, because for me, personally, I've seen a lot of these numbers come through, but then now because of the groups, I've gotten to see how they get there so much, even more so than just in a 2-day meeting, because we meet every month. So I don't know. It's awesome.
And there's small groups. They're about 7 to 10 people, sales managers per group. We meet once a month for 2 hours. And there's just a ton of topics that we talk. I mean, from phone systems to extended warranty programs, how to handle, defective drivetrain, what's expected, how to hire, how to train, how to create ads, how to go hunting for sales staff, and then what to do when you get them. And what the nice part about it, Lee, too, is that we have a lot of different levels, right?
Oh yeah.
That it's different size yards, 2 salespeople, I think the highest is in the low 20s, I think, that's there. So it's a wide array of different size yards, different parts of the company, different models, but everybody's bringing something too. But I think what's really unique too, Lee, is the relationships that were built. Yeah. And luckily for you and I, as the meetings go and the guys are more comfortable, they're doing a lot more talking and discussing with each other than we're just kind of there moderating it and, listening to the internal discussion. So it's not a Rob and Lee and Mike show. It's really bringing some topics there and kind of leading everybody in the direction of what they want to talk about. And I think the unique thing is we'll have 4 or 5 topics to discuss and we get on one, and it takes the whole 2 hours.
And we don't even realize it's going to go there. And really kind of what you touched on, sometimes it's the stay out of the way, Rob, Lee, and Mike call. I mean, really and truly, it's just sitting back and listening to us. A lot of the great minds kind of go over, and I'm not even BSing. There's just a lot of smart people coming up with really creative ways to not only motivate, but to honestly provide a great environment it where they work too. I think that's a lot of what we overlook. I talked about motivation to hit the numbers, but the truth is since the pandemic, so many more people have more remote and everything else. One of the challenges is how do you make everybody feel a part of the team when you're now all over the country? So those different things that I've learned.
Yeah, from remote staff.
Yeah.
Right. Remote salespeople has been a big topic. on how to manage and will it work, won't it work? So, I mean, it's just a really neat thing. And it's getting a group of peers together, and talking about the last 4 weeks and how it's gone, what's the temperature in the industry in all different parts of the company or the country. So, it's really, so again, anyone that's out there that may be interested and don't be intimidated by you think you need to be a certain level. You don't. This is from small to big. And like you said, a lot of great minds, excluding the three of us, in there, talking about their job and how to do it, which, spin off to that is we were so successful. It's been such a success doing those groups that Lee and I decided, well, if we can do it with sales managers, why can't we do it in an affordable way to do sales training? Lee and I were doing a lot of one-on-ones. And, together, the three of us came up with the concept of building sales groups. Yep. So basically what they are is they run from 7 a.m. to 7:50, all 4 or 5 days of the week in different time zones. And again, we have like 7 to 10 salespeople on a group. Everyone's bringing calls to there, and we listen to the calls together, and we talk about tactics and techniques of how to sell, how to open the call, how to, be tactical and ask the qualifying questions, get to the close and get to the finish and taking the order. And, Lee, you could talk to me. You've got 2 groups cooking now. And, what is your feedback?
So far, it's been great. And the more they get to know each other, the more that you have that real true communication. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what you should have done, that. So that part of it's been fun, but really watching also them communicate, like one of the groups and the other one we're getting there, but have been on Skype. And so there's been a lot of communication come through there. But one of the things you're talking about that I think is it's their group. It's not my group. It's their group, and so sometimes when they're submitting the calls, one of the calls recently was, it wasn't about tactics and techniques. You know what it was? It was about who else puts up with this. I mean, and I thought that was kind of I liked it because it wasn't me hitting this agenda or something. It was just, hey, a bunch of guys get together and one of them's got, listen to my call. How many of you put up with this? And what do you do when you put up with it? And how do you, and I just sat back and listened to them all talk about, dealing with a difficult customer or something like that. It wasn't about, quite truthfully, that was more of a, I wouldn't even call it a vent session because that makes it sound like, but it was more about, hey, it's not about the sale on this. We're not getting a sale here. This is an irritated customer. Help me out. How do I deal with this? Or this is an irritated salesperson dealing with a real difficult customer. And so, some of it really isn't tactics and techniques. If I'm honest, it's just having somebody else to be bouncing some situation off of.
Well, and what you hear in the calls are some unique phrasing, which I think is really cool. I heard one guy and it's funny how, you hear someone say a line and everyone's like, well, that's a good one. Like, what are your restrictions? Are there any restrictions on this motor? Right? Meaning miles or dollars, or what does it need to be for an extended warranty company or something. But you hear these little key phrases, which Lee and I are really big on, the this and the that. When the customer says this, you're prepared to say that. But the that could be 7 or 8 different that's depending on the situation and what the customer is. And they're all learning from each other with a little bit, again, of guidance of us pointing in the right direction. And I love that they hear the calls and they know automatically, oh, I knew it. And one of the big things I always say is, this is learning, this is practice. And again, these groups are meant to be, there's no time length on these, right? It's not, they're 3 weeks or 6 weeks. This is like, we want this to be 50 minutes once a week with a group of your peers to talk about your job. And we want it to go on because I feel, Lee, that 50 minutes of engagement keeps you on your game and doesn't allow you to slip. And the unique thing with the slippage, Lee, if you want to get into, we also have a customized data sheet that we're using, if you want to kind of go into the data part of it a little bit.
I mean, and the thing I like about it, and because I was the first one to say, hey, this is an area that we've definitely got to tackle. So it's been good to get into it about 4 or 5 weeks, play with the data sheet, and realize there were some things that we tweaked, and we just got through tweaking it for anybody's watching it, and it should be spot on, but it does a lot to minimize the difference between a guy selling 300,000 and a guy selling, say, 100,000, as far as actually giving you a true picture of the job they're doing in their situation. So that's what I like about it. It's not just sticking your chest out going, I sold more than you. In some instances, the score's coming out and saying, yeah, you sold more than me, but look at the way I handled my market. Right. Look at the way I did that. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, or your end user customers, right? So what the sheet does is we only focus on the data that includes sales to end user customers. We throw out the yard to yard sales, so to speak, because we want to focus on building your customer base as a salesperson. Yeah. That's where your continued growth is going to be, is as you do that. So allowing the data sheet to track it month after month after month, we can track your growth in warranty and user sales, brokered gross profit, invoices per hour. So there's a lot of unique data that all kind of gets compiled by that weekly to then take a really nice snapshot at the end of the month and compare. Yeah. So I've just had a tremendous amount of feedback from, all the people that enter in it that just, getting up at 7, once a week, that kind of thing. Chris from Bo just typed in, our sales guys love these. Highly recommended from Chris Lindquist to Bo, just Skyped in. Good morning, Shan. I saw you give Lee and I a good morning in the chat. I'm glad Shan's always on, but it's, the feedback of like what Chris just said is that's what's invaluable, right? It's the engagement, that I have the managers now that are in our management group, and then they have these people in our groups. They tell me they're hearing their sales staff sound different on the phone now.
And that's good. And it's not, we go over the calls, but a lot of it has to do with what they hear from one another. And you kind of touched on a little bit. I was kind of laughing internally when you said something about, they'll hear a phrase or something like that. And they're like, oh, that might work. And I'm laughing because, my group's all the way from, maybe down the South or something. Well, not maybe, some of the South up north. And I'm thinking how you and I can say the same thing so differently. Shocker. Duh. So I'm like, but it's good because they'll hear something that's going on in a different area. And they're like, you know what? I can translate that into my market and my end customer. And this is how I'm going to say it. And then they take it. And that's exactly what people are talking about. When they hear it on the phones, it's something they heard that they're like, I can use that. And then they make it their own and apply it to the right situation.
Yeah. You just take how the rest of us speak English up here and then translate it into hillbilly. Right? So, but again, I
did get rid of my mullet, like for real. So you should.
But but you're right. It's how do you translate or take it into your base, right? And use your words. Lee and I are not big script people, right? I want to give you. We want to give you concept and ideas for you to build your own script, as long as you're kind of following the guidelines of the breakdown of the 5 W's and the 2 H's. However you get there, as long as we get there in the right time, in the right part of the call, that's what we're trying to achieve. Yep. But I want to give a huge shout out to Jeff Budd from Mullins, right? Mullins Auto Parts. Just a huge shout out for his help and helping us with the data sheet. He spent a lot of hard hours trying to get that right and working with it. So he definitely deserves a plug. And all the people, reach out to, if you know anyone that's in one of our sales manager groups, or, you see Chris and Chan or 2 people that have some people in our group, reach out to some of the recyclers that have, people in our groups and see if it's something you would like. We're open. We do have some spots open. We'd be happy to create some more groups. We're looking for some, what do I call them? Mountain people, Lee? Right? That crazy mountain time zone thing in there.
Right? Ready to go.
Right. And some West Coast groups, right? And we have plenty of room for East Coast, but again, these are generally very positive calls, which are before work, which start your guys off in the right direction in the morning. Again, once a week for 50 minutes. I don't think that's asking too much or too much time to get your people engaged in their job, especially with their peers, Lee.
Yeah.
That's the key. So those are two new things that Profit Team Consulting have really been working on, and they were growing. I think the sales managers have been going for 10 months now.
Going almost a year. Yeah.
Yeah, almost a year. The sales group started in April. And now again, I run some, Lee's running some, and what we're hoping for in the future is we may put some combo groups together that would be Lee and I on the same call. Now, we just will have to shut up a little bit to not make it longer than 50 minutes. If the two of us are on there together, but I'm, again, mostly I don't get on these live things and pitch stuff. And I think it's a small pitch, because what I want to do is just let everybody know this is how it works. This is what's available from us. And please reach out, if you want. And just Profit Team Consulting.
And just so you may know, I actually, when you asked me this morning, you said you want to get on Facebook Live, and then you said, I said, what are we going to cover? And you're like that. And I said, are we really going to pitch the, and it's funny. You say, I don't normally pitch the group, but then your response was, but man, these things are working for people. And so the reality is it wasn't so much you wanted to pitch it because you wanted to pitch it. You were just like, hey, I'm a believer. These things are, people are really enjoying this, and it's making some people enjoy their job more than they ever have. Right. And I was like, well, if that case, when you bring that up, and that is true at even my groups as well, then I'm like, you know what? It's a good thing.
Right. And we're looking to put rookie groups together, and the rookie groups we can do in the kind of the middle of the day or early morning, because a rookie could come off the counter. The 7 a.m. stuff is for the people that need to be answering the phones at 8, but we're definitely, I have one now, hoping to start a couple more rookie groups that we could do at 10 your time, wherever that is, for some kind of newbies. And it works. They get on there and listen to the calls. Requirements, you really got to have your calls recorded. You got to bring live calls, recorded calls to this. I mean, don't you think, Lee, that's the key?
Well, I think it's key. I have somebody about to join that doesn't have that, but is getting that. And I'm like, I'm okay with that if that's on the horizon, because then they can at least see how this works, see how the calls are graded. Because I do think they can take something back and still start their game, working on their game, as I say, and then come out of it. But it definitely, if you don't have the calls recorded, it needs to be something you're working towards. So really joining these groups, if that's what helps you get to that, then that's what you need to do anyway.
Beautiful.
Because absolutely it's something.
And a camera, right? You got to be on camera. We got to see your face.
Some of these guys have gotten on camera, and I'm like, all right, turn your camera back off. And and you notice I don't say any of the ladies or anything like that. I'm smart on that side, but that's a joke. But the cameras really do help. It actually adds to the personal side of the meeting.
It does. So anyway, our 10 minutes is now 19 minutes.
That's you and I.
You and I. But everyone, you're more than welcome. Reach out to me. Reach out to Lee. You can connect to us through the website, leave a message there. Our personal emails are there. Get a hold of me, Lee, Mike, whoever, and we can get you in a group. And it works. Mm-hmm. That's the key, is it's working. And any of you salespeople that are out there that are in these groups and watch this video, put some comments on there, guys, for it. Positive comments on there, please. Especially if they say I'm better than Lee. That'll be great for our little internal competition that we have.
Your ego is unmatched. Yeah, I caught you earlier when you said the I, and then you went to we, and I'm like, that's the ego. Oh, he barely got through.
Right. That's why my head's so much bigger than yours in the video.
Picture when you were saying I'm bigger than you in the picture. I'm like, yeah, you're bigger than me.
Here we go. Yeah, big bone jokes coming out, everybody.
I'm leaving it alone.
Right, but thank you everyone for 20 minutes of your time on a Monday afternoon. I hope it explained the little things. Look forward to hearing from you guys, positive comments from there. And And, site visits are back open. Thankfully, this country's coming back around. Mike's available for site visits. And, whatever anybody needs, we're here to help.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, everyone. Have a great afternoon, a great week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Yeah.
Take care.